much better, especially the boundary between the FCT and Kogi State. That is the biggest in the whole of Kogi State. That Abaji, that area, that boundary area is where they are facing the greatest problem. Even kidnapping on the highway along that corridor usually happens in that Abaji area. It's like kidnappers have come from Nasarawa and Niger states to seek habitation in that Abaji area. So you keep hearing about reports. Okay. I'm just worried that so close to the federal capital, we should be allowing this nonsense to be happening.
So, but Mayor, with all this that has been happening, we know that the Penal Code provides, there's a section of the Penal Code 273 provides that whoever kidnaps or abducts a person shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may be extended to 10 years and also liable to a fine. Well, I remember sometime there was discussions about death penalty, capital punishment for kidnappers. Are we looking at that line, or should we reconsider, revising this part of the Penal Code so that we can accommodate,
I would prefer something that serious. Mm-hmm. Death penalty will be something that serious, but I don't think it will deter anybody, because the people that we are dealing with are bandits. Death is something that comes with the nature of their business. So that might not serve as a deterrent to them.
So what could
the problem? We have to rejig our security architecture, because the problem basically is that the bandits that have been operating in Niger, in Kogi, in Kaduna, in Katsina, lately the security forces have been able to engage them. So they are not as effective in those places. So naturally, they will move to other areas, because bandits always look for sub-targets where they believe that there will be least resistance. So that's why they operate now at the outskirts of the federal capital territory, which is very dangerous. Because why it is dangerous is that if they keep doing that and they keep collecting ransom, that will encourage them to move further down into the federal capital territory. And that will be extremely dangerous. I know that the security forces have really done well. They're trying their best, but we have to accept the fact that this issue of bandits, because it's something that is a major problem for the state now, because some of the remnants, apart from bandits who are thugs and those who want to make money through kidnapping, elements of some of these terrorists, especially from the Boko Haram section, are also now involved in kidnapping. That's the major thing they do now, because the risk is lower. They hardly fight the security forces, but they get people that they can collect huge sum amounts from. And when criminals know that they can make a lot of money from that enterprise, they will jolly well do it. The security forces have to find a way of trying to be proactive by making sure that they take the fights to those bandits in that, because the bandits in the satellite areas are not as dangerous or powerful as those that are in those forces, like Sambisa or all the other forests around that place. So it is better for them to solve the problem now, so that we will not find a situation where we become like the Abuja-Kaduna road, where everybody will just throw their hands up and the kidnappers will have a field day.
Indeed. Well, Abajide, if we're to propose any ultimate solution about this challenge, what would that be? Final thoughts on this regard?
Well, we have to improve security. We have to get vigilantes more involved and arm them. The situation in which you give vigilantes guns to confront these criminals will just not work, because they are better armed and they have capacity to use the weapons at their disposal. So we need to train the vigilantes, get them to fan out to all this, the entire hinterland, because that is where those guys are very, very active, because they know They hardly operate in the urban centers. It's the semi-urban and rural areas where they are active. So we need to provide enough security. We have communities that are big yet have no police station. So our people in such places, especially in the northwest, they are really suffering.
Right.
Asina, all of those places where they don't have presence of military, presence of police, they are really dealing with our people there. A lot of those things don't get reported. That's why we think that the situation is not too bad, but it is very bad indeed. We need to improve.
Well, let's move on to our next issue of discussion, where the Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Abdul Karim Lawan, has called on the federal government and the military to rescue 2 local government areas of the state from the control of Boko Haram insurgents. Now, the local government areas are Guazamala and Kukawa local government areas in the northern senatorial zone of the state. The Lawmakers, who is the representative of Guazamala, said he has consistently pleaded with the federal government to deploy security there so that the civil population can return there. Mayor, let me come to you on this regard. Now, we know that Boko Haram, since its formation in 2002, making it 20 years this year, this sect we're yet to see them fully decimated. What do you think is responsible for this terror sect to exist up to this point?
It has to do with the nature of what they do. It's not a Nigerian situation. If you look at terrorist organizations abroad, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, they're still there, despite the huge firepower resources available to the Western powers. You understand? The Taliban are still there. In fact, they are even in government now. You understand? Even ISIS, there are still remnants of ISIS everywhere. They are building up again. Despite the fact that they were defeated, it's because of the nature, because it's not a conventional war.
Right.
Because it's not a conventional war, it's the theater of war is not determined. So it is difficult for you to, because these are people that sometimes they may look like ordinary civilians. And what they do is that when you attack them in a particular place, they move to another place, hibernate for some time, and then regroup and come back and attack again. So that we have not been able to defeat them in 20 years is not unusual. Even the United States of America have not been able to defeat those people. You can defeat them and not allow them, you can degrade them considerably.
Not allow them to regroup.
Yes, but because, like I said, because of the nature of the business, it's not a conventional war. So that is the reason for that. But lately, our security forces have achieved considerable success against, especially in the northeast, against the terrorists, both ISWAP and Boko Haram. But I think, I may be wrong, but I think that the problem with the two local governments has to do with the terrain of that area and the distance of that area to how it is so far off that it will be difficult for the military to go there, because it's not only enough to defeat people. You have to conquer them and take possession of that place. You have to put troops on ground to be able to dominate that area and hold. And because of the terrain of that area and the distance, I think it will be difficult for the security forces to be able to retain. Because I know that this will be about the third guy that the Honorable is complaining about that place. But I think maybe the security forces believe that it will not be in their interest to go and to put troops on the ground there. Because for you to be able to allow people to come back there, there must be troops on ground. And that is the fringes of Borno State. It's desert-like region.
Right. BKO, if you're to look at this issue from your own end, would you say that perhaps security presence is really lacking in that area, so we need to really beef up security on that axis? What are your thoughts?
We're talking about Guzamala local government, which is the local government of the Speaker. We've not put troops there at all for more than 4 years. that whole local government, there is no presence of troops, despite the appeals made by the Speaker and the Governor. When the Governor set up a committee, a rebuilding committee for that Guzamala local government, the committee could not take off because of insecurity. In 2015, Boko Haram killed a total of 206 soldiers in Guzamala local government in one day. That is the single most deadly attack carried out by those terrorists on Nigerian troops. In fact, if you go to Gudumbali, which is the headquarters of Guzamala local government, there's an epitaph or a cenotaph in honor of those soldiers that were slaughtered in one day by Boko Haram. About 100 and something died, and some succumbed to their injuries later. So it's a very dangerous area, and I know that the Nigerian army is taking its time. Don't forget, they're also stretched. The governor wants to make sure that all communities are reclaimed, and so that he can decongest the IDP camps and return people
back
who are willing
homeland.
to go home, back to their ancestral lands. But you have to be careful. In Abadam local government, where Colonel Abu Ali was killed back then in 2016, the governor has been eager, because since 2014 civilians had not lived there. So he has been eager to send people from the camps to those places, and he's been wondering, why should we have a community, a big fishing community, where you can grow rice and other things, and nobody is living there. We just have soldiers alone there in Malam Fatori, which is the town where Colonel Abu Ali was killed. Now, they sent people to the place. Boko Haram went there about 3 weeks ago to go and kill soldiers again. So you have to understand that for Nigerian troops, they have to take their time. You look at Kukawa, for example, is one of the biggest local governments in Nigeria. You have to ask yourself, how many troops do you need? Some areas are easier to police than others. It's such an extensive place.
Right.
So the speaker was talking about Kukawa, and then his own local government. In Kukawa, we have even put troops in some places. But Guzamala, we've not put troops at all. So where people can see that, okay, our local government is very dangerous, yet there is no presence of soldiers, who will go there? You have places like the garrison town of Manguno, at the edge of our country. We have troops in the capital of the local government. People are free to stay there. But once you step out, it becomes dangerous. People can hardly move unless they are accompanied by lorries of soldiers guiding them.
Security.
It's still the same problem that we have in the Goza area. Goza, Laminkara, going all the way to Madagali in Adamawa State. You have to lead people with troops for them to be able to move from
freely,
community to community. And Baghdad, which is the local government, which is the hometown of Senator Aliun Dume, nobody has lived there since 2014. The senator, in fact, there was a day that he called me to say, yes, I've not been able to go to my hometown because the place has to be even certified safe,
right, for
even the army to allow people to go and settle there. Because if they allow people to settle there and they slaughter them, we still blame the army. So this is the situation. No one should think that the war has ended. There are still no-go areas in the northeast.
So how do you think this matter can be addressed? If you are to, when we're seeing the issue on ground, can we solve this challenge so that people can really go back to their homeland?
Let me tell you, I know places that the army has captured up to 3 times.
Right.
You capture because you don't have enough troops to man every community. They come back. You leave the place, there's a challenges where you move to that place where there's a fresh challenge. You leave that place, they come there. They come and take the place. So the number of troops have to go up significantly. I don't think there has been any time when we put up to 50 to 60,000 troops in the Northeast. And the Northeast is so big. Some of the very big local governments in our country are in Borno State, Damboa local government, very big, you know. So, and the enemy knows that there are limitations. You can't be everywhere. You can't police every community. Why did the army come up with the idea of super camps? Because they found that they could not put their troops everywhere. If you put troops here, you put another one in the next village, they won't have the required strength to confront the enemy when the enemy comes in numbers. So they then decided, okay, we leave some of these communities, then fortify our super camp, stay in the super camps. Even at that, those boys were still going to meet them in the super camp. Well, some of us have been asking that we have to improve in terms of our troop strength, so that we can maintain a greater presence in not just that area, but in other areas where we have issues, especially in the northwest. But if we don't improve the troop strength,
then we'll still have the same issue.
Even places that we capture, we'll be forced to leave those places when we hear of a greater or pressing demand elsewhere. Even Yobe, places like Yunusari, Gaidam, the hometown of the IG, those places too are not safe. The INEC has come out now to say that we have to relocate the polling stations in those areas. Those areas close to the border with Niger, they are not safe. So people shouldn't think that, oh, because we've made so much progress in the last few days with the Tucanos and all that, imagine that this war has ended. It has not ended. There are still places that people can go to. Places, Mandara Mountains, leading right up to the border with Cameroon. They are still dangerous places. Boko Haram is still present.
Mayor,
Nigerians have to accept the reality. The reality is that we are in a war that is very difficult to win. The only way we can do better is to increase the strength of our troops and equip them properly. Because, like I said, you can attack these people. It's not a conventional war where you go there, you defeat, and you take possession of that land, and you dominate that environment. But in this case, when you defeat them, they will move to other places. They will wait for you. They know that you don't have the strength to be able to dominate that environment. They wait for you to leave, they will come back. And whether we like it or not, the Nigerian army does not have the strength to stay and man all these areas. It's not possible. That's why they won't go to Kawa. That's why they won't go to Somala, because they don't have the troops to man those areas.
Indeed, and we hope that we have enough troops and perhaps in time to come. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. You're still on to Journalist Hangout. We have more discussions after this. Stay with us.
Our country one better. Nigeria one better. Our country one better. Nigeria one better. Who go do one for us? Papa Tokambo, Mama Tokambo, for a better Nigeria. Good life uncle. Now you we want to. Now you we need oh.
Yeah, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better we want shele for we country. So as they ready to vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria, our people don't look the matter well. Say na only Bola Tinubu don't do what it everybody fit see. Now him get the experience where you go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. Bola Tinubu don't gather better plan to chest down war for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all we country people. People of Nigeria, for this and many other better things when in don't vocalize, it good make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party where show broom.
Now you we need oh.
How important is comfort to you? Is it as important as the day you discovered that self-love is the start of good life? Here is a comfort that your self-love, Iderade. Transit into your serenity. The opportunity awaits you on this peace of mind as you pay in installments of 24 months with initial deposit of 500,000 naira. Serenity at its finest.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the introduction of a new series of 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes to be launched on December 15, 2022. These new banknotes will circulate side by side with the current 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknote, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023. Banks are now open from Monday to Saturday to accept customers' deposits. So, hurry to your banks to deposit only 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes in your possession. To make it seamless, the CBN has suspended bank charges on all deposits made during this period, and there is no limit on how much an individual can deposit. Remember, the current 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes remain legal tender until January 31, 2023. Do not reject it, but ensure the banknotes get to your bank before the deadline of January 31, 2023. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Everyone has a Chivita this season. What's your Chivita?
Welcome back. You're still on to Journalist Hangout. Now, residents of Lagos and other states in Nigeria are groaning under the excruciating heat of the continuing fuel scarcity. Now, yesterday, transport fares rose by 100% as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and oil marketers battle to find a lasting solution to the fuel shortage. A chairman of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, System 2E Eastern Zone, Sonny Mpe, says instead of issuing an ultimatum, the DSS should go after the cartel operating among private depot owners hoarding petrol to end fuel queues. Meanwhile, commercial drivers in Lagos have completely phased out 50 and 100 naira fares, as no distance, no matter how short, is less than 200 naira. Babajide, tough times indeed, I would say, await most of us during this Yuletide. How would you react to this concern?
Our people are in trouble because there is one thing that these guys in the oil sector are known for: dishonesty. If they tell you this is black, you have to take a second look at it. It might well be white. They will never tell Nigerians the truth. I do not see how fuel scarcity will linger except there are supply issues. If supply tapers down, it can trigger a level of scarcity. It can be exploited by marketers, to cause serious scarcity. NNPC has to admit that its stock of PMS has gone down. Somebody suggested on this program that because Dangote will soon kick off its refinery, that they have scaled down on the level of importation. Because that refinery will put an end to importation of
petroleum products.
Of PMS, and we will be able to save some dollars because there is nothing that burns our forest earnings more than this importation of fuel, of petrol. So somebody suggested that they have scaled down a little bit. when you scale down, at this period, if you are supplying 40 million liters per day to Nigerians, in this season, you expect that we use petrol a lot more. Because holiday season, people are at home, they want to watch TV, people will travel and all that. We use petrol a lot more during Christmas, more than at any other time, you know, in a year. So if supply tapers down, even if it's a little bit, it will cause disruptions in the supply chain. But they are not willing to admit to us. They will tell us they have this, they have that. And people go to depots and they can't find petrol. This problem, I was in Ilone last weekend. People were buying petrol for as high as 260 to 280 naira per liter. That's where it is even available. In the rural areas, in some rural areas, 300, 380 per liter. I mean, if you can only hoard where there is insufficient supply. This is the normal thing. In 2017, when we had a very serious fuel scarcity similar to this was how they were lying to us until the Senate organized a public hearing where Moman, the secretary of Moman, I've forgotten his name now came to tell us that, look, supply had tapered down for months. And he had his facts. So at that point, all those lies came to an end. We now knew where the problem came from. So for me, NNPC does not deserve to be treating Nigerians in this way. There's too much dishonesty. You won't tell Nigerians the truth. We don't even know the truth as per our level of consumption on a daily basis. Everybody is wondering, I know this. You can't scientifically defend this. Now, see what our people are going through. Badagry to mile 2, which cost 400 naira before now, is now 1,000 naira. Wow. Agbara in Ogun State to mile 2, which used to be between 300 and 400 naira, is now 700 naira. Igondo to Yanoipaja, which used to be 200 naira, is now 500 naira. Egbeda to Oshodi, which cost between 200 and 300 naira, is now between 500 and 600 naira. You know? So commercial drivers, whatever even is the distance, it's like they phased off 50 naira, 100 naira now. They have to bill you something higher. Aja to CMS, which used to be 400 naira or even 300, it's now 1,000 naira. CMS to mile 2 has moved from 200 to 400. I mean, which used to be between 200 and 400, is now between 700 and 1,000. That's what our people are going through. And somebody is paid to ensure that we have good supply, equitable distribution of petroleum products. Somebody should be made to pay for subjecting us to these pains. Hardship. The other day, they imported contaminated petrol. Till today, nobody has been punished. Yet Nigerians suffered as a result. Some people lost their engines.
Because we're not.
It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Who is the Minister for Petroleum Products? The Minister for Petroleum Products is the President. So is the incompetence of the President that we are suffering. Because this problem has to do with NNPC. There's so much inefficiency in NNPC, and the Minister for Petroleum Products, which is the President, seems incapable of calling them to order. The other day, they went to change some colors, and they went to deceive them that, NNPC is now brand new, is one limited company that is doing very well. Nothing has changed.
But it's the same people running the place.
The inefficiency that is NNPC is still there, because the NNPC is the sole importer of petroleum products. And that's
what they tell us.
That's what they tell us.
But that's not totally true.
That's not totally true, because the problem we have now is that those depot owners are now selling at the price. People who are buying petroleum products now are not buying it at the price they were supposed to be able to sell at 169. So even in Lagos, the last time I bought fuel, it was 250 naira per liter.
Wow.
In Oregon, 250 naira per liter. It's only NNPC stations that still sell at 169.
And when you see the queue,
with those NNPC stations, they also complain that they don't get enough products from NNPC. One way or the other, they are not supplying them enough to be able to reach out to people. Maybe they will get one tanker maybe in 4 days. So that's part of the problem. The others who were able to have access to these tankers, they sell at 250, 260 naira per liter. In Lagos, it's not as if they hide to do that. When you look at their meter, you see they put it there 250 naira per liter. So government has to face the reality that...
And it's a regulated market.
Yes, Nigerians are not buying at 169. But because election is coming, government cannot afford to say, oh, we are increasing the price of petroleum products to X amount of money. They want to wait till after election. So people, they look the other way. They know that people, because you are not supposed, it's a regulated market, so you are not supposed to sell at 250. But because they know that these people did not buy, it's not possible for them to sell at 169, given how much they bought the thing. So they just look the other way. So I think this is going to be like this until we move towards election.
Wow, this is really, really a sad one, if I would say. BEKO, what do you think is the solution to this matter, if we were to look at celebration of the Yuletide season?
Except they bring in sufficient stock within the next few days, Nigerians will suffer. And I've had some stakeholders in that sector saying this thing will not end soon.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been telling us it won't end soon. NNPC will never tell you that, they will not even own up that there is scarcity in the first place. You know? So there are people who are selling above the ex-depot price, and they too give all kinds of excuses. Forex illiquidity that we are facing is a big challenge to business in our country. Some of these marketers are saying that, look, access to forex has been very difficult for them and is shrinking their margin. So what do you expect them to do? Of course, they want to go and jack up the price. Look at the matter of a daughter vessel that they usually rent to offload product from the big tankers that bring petroleum products. The cost of renting it went up by more than 130%, and you pay in dollars. So where is the dollar? Then how do you explain the sudden rise in the cost of renting that daughter vessel? So that one is there. So a lot of them are finding it difficult to operate within the price modulation that NNPC came up with the last time. Diesel is a big issue. You need to power your generator, your filling stations with diesel because public electricity is not reliable. By the time you power your station for a whole day with diesel at the current price, you know that you won't even make profit. So they are adding to this. And even tank farm owners and depot owners, some of them are already selling at 202 naira per liter, which is higher than the ex-depot price. So if it's higher, what do you then expect the independent marketers to do? As well. The independent petroleum marketers, they are more in number than the major marketers. They are the ones in the rural areas and other parts of... so what do you expect them to do? Of course, they too will have to add to the
price.
Yes, so that they can make their money.
Profits as well.
My advice is that we have to face reality. We cannot sell petroleum products at 169. So if it is 250 that people are paying now, let them accept that that is the price so that they can make it available. Because part of the problem now is that those who want to sell at 169, they are not giving them a lot of products. I know that because I know somebody in NNPC. I know that has an NNPC station. And I've asked the question, why is it that you guys don't buy enough trucks so that as I'm finishing selling a truck, you have another one? And he said, no, we pay, but they don't give us because they collect it from NNPC. And let us face the reality that petroleum products based on the cost now cannot sell at 169. So let us face that reality, because already people are paying that price. Only few people, and you see a long queue, maybe in Mobile, maybe in NFPC station. That's why you get to 169. If you go to any other independent market, it's 250, 260. So let's face the reality and know that we are buying this thing at 250, 260.
And let it be
so
available
that we can
to
have
everyone.
The products, yes.
Indeed. All right, let's quickly move on to our next issue of discussion, where the Independent National Electoral Commission says the current democracy in Nigeria is being threatened by the predominance of money politics. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said at a colloquium on emerging issues that will shape the 2023 elections in Nigeria, organized by the Center for Democracy and Development in collaboration with Open Society Initiative for West Africa in Abuja. Well, the chairman said that there were 3 critical challenges to be overcome in the conduct of next year's election, namely insecurity, fake news, and money politics. Bajide, you know, this issue of money politics is becoming a norm in our elections of today. But what do you make of these concerns? Are we ready to deal with this issue even as we prepare for next year's elections?
You know, he said something that makes me really worried, that politicians are mopping up PVCs. And when politicians are doing this, you can guess why they are doing it. They're investing so much money buying off people's PVCs. They want to rig election. In some places where you know that you are not strong, if you mop up as many PVCs as possible in that area, you stand a chance of reducing the votes that can come from your opponent. Then again, we have seen that Beavers, from the Osun election, we have seen that Beavers is not perfect. At the tribunal, the argument adduced, and INEC's defense, the fact that there were 2 different Beavers reports, show that Beavers can be manipulated. So it's not impossible for people to mop up PVCs and then give those PVCs to their own people. It's human beings, and in some cases, people can be compromised that will do the authentication. If there's a 3-way authentication, a person compromised can stop at 1, which could let me give an example that, okay, in this polling unit, because the PVCs are configured to work in particular polling stations.
Right.
But it is possible for a compromised electoral officer to allow someone who is not the owner of the PVC to vote just because it is already authenticated that that PVC is for that polling station or that polling unit. So that's one. Because politicians are not fools. By the time they are mopping up this, they know what they are doing. They are trying to disenfranchise some people that they are not sure of their loyalty, and then trying to see how they can take advantage of such a situation in particular areas where they know their opponents are strong. Sometimes they go and cause violence in an opponent's area, knowing that what the INEC rule book says is that once violence is recorded in an area, you cannot return votes in that area. You have to cancel the election there. Many people have suffered as a result of that, many candidates. But the enemy deliberately go and cause trouble where you are strong so that they can't record votes for you in such areas. There are all kinds of things that politicians are doing, including the fake news that he talked about. Fake news and bad language. People go on TV to abuse fellow politicians and all that, calling people names, saying things that they cannot prove about other people. In this season, it has made the electoral season a very toxic one. And if people are being attacked even before election day. What will happen on election day? You know?
I don't know what your thoughts on that. I understand we have to take this commercial break. Apologies, but we'll return with more discussions on this very issue. Stay with us.
Rice value chain, this is where I'm talking about the rice mills. There are 10 rice mills currently under construction. We just received additional intervention to complete them. One, this one you are seeing here is being already tested. This is the one at Pali. And we have in Kano, we have in Niger, I think some of the states are there. We will be finishing those Ekiti, Ogun, Bayelsa, FCT, Adamawa, Jigawa. There are 10 of them across the country.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the introduction of a new series of 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes to be launched on December 15, 2022. These new banknotes will circulate side by side with the current 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknote, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023. Banks are now open from Monday to Saturday to accept customers' deposits. So, hurry to your banks to deposit only 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes in your possession. To make it seamless, the CBN has suspended bank charges on all deposits made during this period, and there is no limit on how much an individual can deposit. Remember, the current 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes remain legal tender until January 31, 2023. Do not reject it, but ensure the banknotes get to your bank before the deadline of January 31, 2023. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
This place will have a recreational park that is designed to make life comfortable. Wellness is key, and we're putting this place that will help people to, keep up on their health, where they could burn their fat. And the timeline for this project is estimated to start and end within 18 months. But however, it starts in phases. The first phase is to get this place secured and gated, which is done.
Mowe is a growing city, and if you are very, very smart, then you realize that the Lagos-Ibadan expressway that is being developed is going to throw Mowe open furthermore.
People that have gone ahead of us have great investment here. And even way in the 90s, even before we talked about coming here. So I think it's a good idea, Iderade coming here.
So we are working on partnership with private sector to optimize processing centers, not passport issuance center. Please get it right. We call them front offices, where you could go for your data capture and within 6 weeks you get your passport. Before this additional leaves will be concluded, and we shall be producing passports locally.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Back, you're still on to Journalists Hangout, and we're discussing the issue pertaining to the preparations ahead of next year's elections. Babajide, now you were mentioning, before we went on break about the concerns of what the chairman mentioned, politicians, being involved in money politics and, of course, fake news and all of that. But, as we approach the elections proper, how do you think these concerns can be addressed so that candidates can be sure that the elections conducted are free, fair, and credible?
Because INEC has to really do a lot of sensitization, because given what happened in Osun and some of the information coming out, it is clear that BVAS is not foolproof, because there are cases of overvoting in Osun, and BVAS is supposed to ensure that doesn't happen, So I can't go into all of the details, but I think that INEC has a lot to to do by way of sensitizing our people and assuring our people that the election will be free, fair, and credible.
Right.
And that to put his foot down and follow his own rule book to the letter.
Indeed. Mayor.
My own argument is that the INEC chairman should not bother himself about money politics. Because whether we like it or not, you cannot eradicate that. In a country where people are poor, it's easy to sway them with money. That is the reality on ground. There are a lot of people, things are difficult for some people, and when you try to induce them with cash, they will just look at it that, look, this is my own share, let me take this, I'm sure of this one, I'm not sure of any other thing. So, and I know that INEC is playing so much emphasis on that, but we have not seen them do that in all elections. We've seen people, even brazenly, giving people money for elections. So, instead of bothering themselves about money politics and the money that politicians will spend, I think I need to spend more time on their staff, making sure that the process that they've put in place to stop election rigging works. Because BVAS is supposed to stop you. The essence of BVAS is biometrics. Like we go to embassy and we do biometrics. And the essence of biometrics is to identify who the person is using technology. So BVAS is supposed to do that. BVAS is supposed to say the owner of the person holding this PVC is the genuine owner of that PVC. Because what politicians used to do is they will do what they are doing now, buy a lot of PVCs, or sometimes register themselves, then warehouse those PVCs. And on election day, they move around with Tecomog. People who they will go take to police stations to go and vote and all that. So BVAS was supposed to stop that. You get there, the BVAS, if you cannot do about 2 thumbprints, you'll be able to get it through your eyes. There are stages where you are supposed to be identified that this is the owner of it. So for there to be overvoting in Osun shows that BVAS, for one way or the other, did not work in many places. And now that we are going to have an election all over the country, we may have things like that where in a lot of places BVAS will not work and they will be forced to bypass it.
And that's what the law says, is that if it doesn't work in a place,
there should not be election in that place.
They should come back the next day.
But they can compromise through INEC. You see, if there are few BVAS that didn't work in some places, you can say, oh, there won't be election in those places. But if it is a large-scale default and there are all over the country, a lot of BVAS don't work, INEC will be forced to use manual. And when you use that, you cannot stop rigging. So instead of bothering themselves about what people vote buying and spending money,
go and perfect their
let them
processes.
perfect their own in-house things, their rule book, things that they put in place for election to hold. And then the next one is the issue of security. They should also work with security agencies now to be able to have a vote pool where they will have security all over the country. Because without security, people cannot vote.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave it, gentlemen. We'd like to thank you very much, Mayor Akinpelu. And, of course, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, is always a pleasure to have you.
You didn't have Prince.
Prince, apologies, Prince Mayor Akinpelu.
No, not me, him.
Oh.
He's also a prince.
Now you're trying to both throw me around.
No, because the father, I just learned today that the father is going to be king.
Coronated.
Yeah,
well, congratulations again.
So that means he's a prince now.
Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Prince Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Thank you so much for your thoughts. We really appreciate you both on the program. Well, that's about it on Journalist Hangout. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch a repeat broadcast tonight at 11. Join us again on Sunday at 1:30 to 3:30. And we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Esther Makwariola. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Struggling with energetic kids and you can't get them to get to sleep? Tried so many things to get them to snooze, but nothing seems to work. ShopX TV is proud to introduce an amazing gift for the kids. Introducing Happy Nappers.
They are happy, happy nappers. They love to sleep and play with you.
The perfect play pillows that pull open to a sleepy sack surprise. Who are the happiest nappers of all? Happy Nappers! They are more than just play pillows. They are comfy sleep sacks that keep your kids warm and wrapped safely in their favorite play characters, day or night. With a simple pull and zip, your child can snuggle up and nap inside of it. Imagine children that actually want to take a nap. They are your go-anywhere friends. They play with you all day, and when it's time to sleep, you just pull on their feet. Sleepy time, playtime, anytime is happy napper time. And when the napping is done, they fold back in for even more fun. Ordinary play pillows or blankets are not as much fun, and they don't hold the heat in, unlike Happy Nappers. And the sleep sacks are completely enclosed to keep your child warm and cozy during nap time or even through the night.
Toluani absolutely loves her Happy Nappers kitty cat. It's pink, girly, and fluffy. Everything that she loves. Well, I love it because it's a 2-in-1. She can play with it all day, and when she's tired, she can take a nap in it.
Latana loves his Happy Nappers Grey Shark. He loves playing with it and has real adventures with the shark. It's been really hard for him to sleep recently, but thanks to his Happy Napper Shark, he finds it so easy to sleep all through the night. And to be honest, it's simply easier for me too as well.
Happy Nappers is now available in Nigeria exclusively from ShopX TV. You can choose from Pink Cat, Grey Shark, White Unicorn, and even a Pink Unicorn. Don't forget, Happy Nappers comes with the ShopX TV's 30-day money-back guarantee. Happy Nappers are a great gift for any child and come in medium and large sizes. Why not put some fun into your child's Christmas and get the ShopX Medium Happy Napper for 49,950 Naira and the large Happy Napper for 69,950 Naira only. Call the number on your screen now or visit our website at www.shopxtv.com to order yours now. And that's not all. If you order now, we will deliver to your door with no delivery charge. But hurry, limited stock available, so call now while stock lasts.
The preceding was a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge.
Hello and welcome to TVC News at 6. Let's begin in the nation's capital, where the Nigerian Senate has suspended consideration of a report by its Committee on Banking and Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the new policies by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Senate had earlier resolved to consider the report at plenary following its earlier directive to the committee to interact with officials of the Apex Bank on the modalities surrounding the policies and report back with its findings. At plenary, a member of the committee, Senator Adetunbi Olubumi, explained to lawmakers that the committee had met with the deputy governors of the Apex Bank when they appeared before the committee for the confirmation of their reappointment and have gathered necessary information regarding the new policies.
The deputy governors gave very elaborate explanation, and the committee actually also requested for further evidence in terms of documented reports that will enable the committee to fully understand the issues behind this policy and be able to brief the plenary appropriately.
My objection is, I think
we shouldn't allow this thing to be swept under the carpet. It's a very serious issue. Nigerians are waiting to hear exactly